In a forest in the past, a young man named Vincent Van Ghoul and his partner Mortifer Quinch appear. The two of them search tirelessly for the chest of demons. But their escape route does not seem smooth because the 13th ghost is chasing them. As soon as it appears, Vincent opens the demon chest to seal it inside. Although Vincent and Mortifer successfully defeat the 13th ghost, the minions of evil do not easily let them go. They will not hesitate to use any means to open the demon chest and release the 13th ghost again. Vincent and Mortifer have no other choice, so they decide to separate in order to create a chance to escape. Mortifer quickly uses magic to trick the other ghosts into chasing him, creating a path for his partner to survive. Soon they surround him, leaving only a pile of ashes in front of Vincent. Then Mystery Inc. starts their journey to solve the mystery and accidentally opens the chest of demons, releasing 13 ghosts who once again put the world in danger. Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Scrappy-Doo, Daphne and Flim Flam, who is Vincent Van Ghoul's nephew, have to spend many days sealing them back into the chest of demons. However, the 13th ghost still hides outside, waiting for the opportunity to release the other ghosts once again. Back in the present, Mystery Inc. is chasing a suspicious person. Although the situation is very urgent, they still fully comply with escalator regulations because safety is paramount. Next, Mystery Inc. chases the suspicious person into a room. As soon as they find him, he throws himself into the trap they set. The suspect is caught and Mystery Inc. gets closer to see who is behind the mask. But no matter how hard they pull, the mask does not come off. It is not until the sheriff announces that this is his real face that Mystery Inc. stops. It turns out they arrested the wrong person, because the woman next to him is the real culprit. As for why the farmer ran away, it is because he is afraid of mischievous teenagers. The sheriff says that solving mysteries is a difficult job even for professionals like him. Mystery Inc. has made too many mistakes, so he decides to forbid them from investigating other mysteries. Then Mystery Inc. has to liquidate the items they often use for investigations. The most heartbroken person is Fred because he has to part with the mystery machine. And the happiest people are Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, because now they no longer have to risk their lives as bait for monsters. At this moment, a guest finds a crystal ball that startles Scooby-Doo, Shaggy and Daphne. It turns out that the crystal ball is Vincent Van Ghoul's communication device. He announces that he has found the 13th and final ghost. Now Mystery Inc. needs to be here immediately to seal it. After hearing Vincent, Scooby-Doo, Shaggy and Daphne decide to tell Velma and Fred about the 13th ghost. Mystery Inc. quickly prepares all the tools to go to Vincent Van Ghoul's castle. Having lost the familiar mystery machine, Daphne replaces it with her old red van. In no time it becomes dark, and Velma investigates some additional information about this mystery. The demon chest can only be opened by living people, and the 13th ghost's real name is Asmodeus, king of the demons and the most powerful ghost. While Daphne is driving, she suddenly notices a car appearing behind her, but it is not a normal car. It is a ghost car and it wants to harm Mystery Inc. Daphne has no choice but to accelerate and shift gears to try to escape from this driverless car. Although she almost faces death, the ghost car still has no intention of stopping. Meanwhile, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy activate the defense system on the van, but even though they use oil slicks and smoke bombs, the ghost car can still appear in front of Mystery Inc. It really wants to push everyone to the edge, so Daphne deliberately drives the van off a cliff. Seeing that its prey has disappeared, the ghost car finally leaves, unaware that Daphne's van is equipped with an emergency buoy. After losing the ghost car, Mystery Inc. finally reaches Vincent Van Ghoul's castle. However, the eerie atmosphere quickly makes Scooby-Doo and Shaggy feel a chill down their spines. Even the door is unlocked, making them just want to go back to the van. There is no other way, so Fred negotiates with Scooby-Doo and Shaggy using Scooby snacks, and they finally give in. As soon as they step inside, Daphne immediately realizes that the castle has become deserted. Mystery Inc. decides to split up to search for Vincent, leaving only Fred and Daphne together. Suddenly the crystal ball glows again. It works like a phone when Vincent calls with the remaining crystal ball. Fred and Daphne can rely on this, following its increasing brightness to find Vincent. However, they do not realize that they are being followed by a mysterious person. Meanwhile, Scooby-Doo, Shaggy and Velma are searching the kitchen. Here Scooby-Doo and Shaggy find some food, while Velma discovers a pulley system running throughout the entire castle. While Scooby-Doo is looking for more food, he accidentally sees something he should not have seen. The 13th ghost does not hesitate to help Scooby-Doo, which frightens him. Only Velma feels confused, so she walks straight inside and suddenly screams, making Scooby-Doo and Shaggy shiver. It turns out that she is just too excited after finding a recording of Howling Wind. Velma quickly uses its scent so that Scooby-Doo can determine the location of the person behind it. But Shaggy and Velma do not expect that Scooby-Doo will give them a false alarm, while frustrated Velma accidentally activates a secret switch, causing all three to fall down immediately. On the other hand, Fred and Daphne follow the crystal ball's instructions but still do not discover any new clues, just as they are confused about what to do next. The other three members suddenly fall straight on their heads. Scooby-Doo quickly smells Vincent's scent inside the coffin, so Mystery Inc. opens it together. However, before they can celebrate, the 13th ghost suddenly appears. Vincent tells Shaggy to open the chest of demons to seal it, but Shaggy says he accidentally sent it to the wrong address. He sent the chest of demons to Vincent's real home in the Himalayas. But that was not actually Vincent's house. Hearing that there is no devil's chest here makes Asmodeus furious, so Vincent uses his body to shield everyone. As a result, after the explosion ends, the 13th ghost disappears to find the chest of demons. Now Vincent tells the whole story, admitting that it is all his fault. Years ago, he and his partner Mortifer Quinch went to King Solomon's temple, where they found the chest of demons, one of the most important archaeological discoveries in history. However, Vincent quickly realizes that King Solomon had used the chest of demons to seal 13 ghosts who had caused disasters in the ancient world. Evil is contained within the chest of demons, so they are not allowed to release it. But while using a crowbar, Vincent accidentally breaks the lock, which leads to the 13 ghosts escaping from the chest of demons. After that, Vincent and Mortifer clean up the mess they created, until Scooby-Doo and Shaggy accidentally release them again, although they seal 12 ghosts. The most dangerous ghost, Asmodeus, still wanders outside. In the past, Vincent had defeated it with his partner Mortifer, but now Mortifer has sacrificed his life to protect the chest of demons. So defeating the 13th ghost is no longer as easy as before. Then Mystery Inc. and Vincent head straight to the Himalayas together. On the flying boat, Scooby-Doo pretends to be a flight attendant and Shaggy pretends to be the captain, which surprises Fred. Shaggy does not disappoint anyone as he successfully takes them to the Himalayas safely. According to what Velma finds online, the village is evaluated because it is haunted. But what surprises everyone the most is that the man who offered to buy the crystal ball appears here. Fred quickly remembers that he is Bernie Allen because he still has the business card. Realizing that this may not be a coincidence, Mystery Inc. decides to follow Bernie Allen. Meanwhile, Velma and Fred go to search for the chest of demons at the post office sent by Shaggy. But they see no one and split up to search, unaware that a mysterious person is following them. On the other hand, the remaining members who are following Bernie Allen suddenly hear a roar. Shaggy says it might be Scooby-Doo's stomach because Scooby-Doo has not eaten anything for the past 5 minutes. But in a moment of carelessness, they lose track of Bernie Allen. Not only that, they soon discover that the roaring sound actually comes from the ghost car they encountered before. Its rumbling engine causes an avalanche, forcing everyone to run for their lives. Never before has the door of death felt so close to them. At the same time, Velma and Fred are searching the post office when a package suddenly falls. Velma warns that it might be a trap, but Fred thinks she is overreacting. Seconds later, Velma's warning proves true. Fred is hung upside down from the ceiling. It turns out that Flim Flam, Vincent Van Gogh's nephew, is the caretaker of this place. He quickly clears up the misunderstanding with Velma and Fred and leads them to the chest of demons. Meanwhile, the others are struggling to survive the avalanche. Daphne alone helps the three others, fighting between life and death. Fortunately, they eventually escape the avalanche and reach King Solomon's temple. However, the ghost car has no intention of letting them go and creates another avalanche. With no other choice, everyone uses a signboard instead of a snowboard to escape. Soon they slide safely to the front of King Solomon's temple before the avalanche swallows them. At the same time, Flim Flam leads Velma and Fred to the place where the chest of demons is kept. Velma, curious about its contents, opens it despite Fred's warning. Instantly, a beam of light shoots straight up into the sky, frightening both of them. But Flim Flam calmly walks to the chest of demons and pulls out a can of soda. It turns out to be a fake item used as a mini fridge. Moreover, he sells other products featuring the image of the chest of demons. What Velma and Fred want is the real devil's chest. Realizing they are ghost hunters, Flim Flam leads them to a secret room where he stores countless weapons used for catching ghosts. Velma seems uninterested because she only trusts science, even though Flim Flam explains that science cannot yet explain ghost phenomena. It does not mean they are not real. Velma simply replies that she believes in the truth, not imagination, and then walks away. Outside, Velma and Fred are discussing the 13th ghost when they are suddenly taken away. At the same time, Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Daphne, and Vincent wake up after the avalanche. They are very lucky because the temple door opens just as the avalanche hits. The four of them move inside and see a statue surrounded by lit candles. Daphne realizes that someone else has been here before, and the 13th ghost reveals itself. It quickly opens a secret door and Daphne immediately gives chase. It turns out that Asmodeus has already taken the chest of demons from the post office before Mystery Inc. could retrieve it. Now they must act quickly to reclaim the chest from the 13th ghost before it releases the other ghosts. During the struggle for the chest of demons at King Solomon's temple, countless traps appear. Mystery Inc. struggles to hold onto the chest, but in the end, Asmodeus snatches it at the last moment. Just as the 13th ghost opens a door, it notices two monks meditating. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy pretend to invite Asmodeus to join them, and while it is distracted, they use a curtain to cover its eyes and escape with the chest in hand. While searching for an escape route, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy accidentally run into Daphne and Vincent, seeing the 13th ghost slowly approaching. Scooby-Doo digs through the snow to clear a path, but he becomes exhausted. Vincent steps in and uses the crystal to distract Asmodeus, giving everyone a chance to escape. When they wake up, they find themselves outside the temple and Vincent is missing. It turns out he has chosen to stay behind to fight Asmodeus and redeem his past mistakes. At that moment, Velma and Fred suddenly appear and startle everyone. Mystery Inc. feels discouraged, unsure of what to do next, so Fred steps up to lead them. Soon the team regains their spirits and devises a plan to trap the 13th ghost once again. They decide to split into two groups. Velma and Fred go to Flim Flam for additional help, while Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and Daphne perform a parachute jump from above to reach the temple. Seeing all three land safely, Velma, Fred, and Flim Flam provide support from behind. Unexpectedly, the ghost car appears and chases them. Seeing the urgency, Fred floors the gas to shake it off. Next, Flim Flam uses the available equipment to disable the ghost car and clear the path. With the immediate danger over, Velma, Fred, and Flim Flam enter the temple to assist the others. Meanwhile, Vincent negotiates with the 13th ghost, explaining that a living person is needed to open the chest of demons. Just as the situation grows tense, someone claiming to be the 14th ghost appears, being annoyed, so Asmodeus rushes in, and Vincent is forced to give up the chest to rescue Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and Daphne. At that moment, Velma, Fred, and Flim Flam arrive and almost mistake their friends for the 13th ghost. After that, everyone finds Vincent in a lethargic state. It turns out the 13th ghost has obtained the chest of demons and is preparing to release the other ghosts. Now Vincent explains his family's dark past. Asmodeus is the demonic form of his ancestor Asmad Van Ghoul, once the most powerful magician the world had ever known. But power corrupted him and Asmad Van Ghoul used magic for evil schemes. Although he was overthrown and sealed inside the chest of demons, he continued to grow in power and became Asmodeus. At this moment, the 13th ghost takes advantage of everyone's distraction to open the chest of demons. A foul smell quickly spreads, making those nearby unable to bear it. Flim Flam tells Velma to use a weapon to defeat Asmodeus immediately, but Velma refuses, explaining that according to her research, the chest of demons can only be opened by a living person. Realizing that his plan has been exposed, Asmodeus closes the chest and flees. However, he does not expect Daphne to quickly grab a vacuum cleaner and bring it back. When Vincent sees behind the 13th ghost's mask, he recognizes his old partner Mortifer Quench. Vincent cannot believe his eyes. He had seen Mortifer apparently being devoured by ghosts, but it was all an illusion, a magic trick. Mortifer's real plan was to steal the chest of demons and auction it, starting at $10 million. At that moment, Bernie Allen reveals himself as Vance Linklater, an Interpol agent. Interpol had been tracking Mortifer for months, ever since he began contacting the world's wealthiest collectors to sell the legendary Devil's Chest. Shaggy wonders why the chest is emitting light and a foul smell. Scooby-Doo immediately offers a sandwich. revealing that Shaggy had accidentally sent the chest to Vincent inside the mini fridge he had bought from Flim Flam. Meanwhile, Mortifer secretly swaps handcuffs with Vincent to try to escape. Daphne realizes the ghost car's roar could trigger another avalanche, so they must stop Mortifer immediately. Although Vincent warns him that the ghost car's engine could cause a disaster, Mortifer ignores it. As a result, the avalanche strikes, burying Mortifer along with the ghost car. Suddenly, fleeting images of Asmodeus and Asmad Van Ghoul appear before everyone. Velma deduces that inside the chest of demons, Asmad Van Ghoul had reflected on his wrongdoings and sought redemption. Vincent's ancestors had watched over him like guardian angels. Now Vincent is safe and his ancestors can finally rest in peace. Mortifer, however, survives and is immediately arrested by Interpol. Afterwards, Mystery Inc. parts ways with Flim Flam. Velma explains that the 12 ghosts were actually illusions, a collective hallucination caused by the thin air at high altitudes in the Himalayas. She also reveals why she and Fred were suddenly taken away. It was the ski lift. Furthermore, Velma has recovered the real Devil's Chest, which Shaggy had long mistaken on the truck. Finally, Mystery Inc. boards the flying boat with Vincent to return home. But this time, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy swap roles. Shaggy pretends to be a flight attendant, while Scooby-Doo takes the role of the captain.